The Higher Consulting Committee of the Ministry of State for Youth Affairs held today its first press conference in order to reveal all the details concerning the establishment of the ministry. Heber Abdul Rahman was there with more details.
Under the patronage and with the attendance of Minister of Information and Minister of State for Youth Affairs, Sheikh Salman Al-Homoud Al-Sabah, the Higher Consultative Committee of the Ministry of State for Youth Affairs held this morning its first press conference in the headquarter of the Ministry of Information.
The Ministry of Youth Affairs is critical in this time and stage in the evolution of the state of Kuwait. The youth for decades now have been standing together to kind of formulate an organization where they can come together and speak under one umbrella. And this is what the ministry is trying to accomplish today. It's trying to accomplish a sort of incubator, a campus community, if you will, for young men and women to come together and exchange ideas and offer fruitful situations and fruitful solutions for addressing national and international issues. I say international issues because I think in this era of globalization it's quite critical that in order for us to have any sort of I guess relevance long term, we would need to be able to communicate on an international level and leave a footprint on the international community at large.
The aim of the conference was to reveal all the details concerning the establishment of the Ministry of State for Youth Affairs for the first time in Kuwait, in addition to talking about the role of all departments and sectors involving in this event, such as the Media Committee.
I have the honor of heading the Media Committee, which is under the Higher Advisory Committee for the Ministry. And our major responsibilities first are shedding light on the major strategic plan for the Ministry, as well as the programs that are upcoming within the next first year of its kind of inception. What we hope to do is try to find joint projects with the private sector where we can find ways to provide perhaps learning opportunities as well as co-development and co-nurturing, co-financing partnerships with young men and women in the public and the private sector. We want to make sure that we address all issues relating to youth concerns using indirect media capabilities, and we want to make sure to do it in an inventive and invigorating and dynamic way.
The event also witnessed receiving inquiries and new ideas of the attendees, especially from the journalists and media members, as the committee received these questions and answered all of them with great appreciation. Moreover, the members of the Higher Committee did not want to miss the chance to thank all the government sectors and the ministries who cooperated with the committee in its first steps.
Of course, to be able to nurture a young man or woman, it's very critical to understand that it's not the ministry's role to bring up this young man or woman, to offer them support from the onset is really the responsibility of the family. The family unit is critical here when we talk about the sort of support that we are looking for in the development of this youth community. So what our role would be essentially as a ministry would be to come in and provide facilities and a strategic plan that families can then incorporate within their own lifestyles. In addition to that, we try to find ways to find parallel solutions with the private sector, with the public sector, with other governmental organizations like the Ministry of Education, the Ministry of Finance, the Ministry of Social Affairs, and a number of other ministries, state ministries, where we can find co-development opportunities for young men and women, ways that we can perhaps help them accomplish goals that perhaps were unheard of in the past. I think our alliances with these ministries, as far as Ministry of Youth is concerned, is quite critical in this stage.
After the first press conference held by the Higher Consultative Committee for the Ministry of State for Youth Affairs, we can say that the idea of establishing such a ministry here in Kuwait for the first time is very suitable for a community where youth forms more than 60% of its population. From the Ministry of Information, this is Heba Abdulrahman reporting for English News.